Hello everyone, and welcome to the Koholint to Corneria Archipelago race. I am your lovely host today, Maddie, also known as Isabelle Zephyr over on Twitch, and today we have Les Guerriers de l'Omelette versus the Pegasus boats. This is game 2. There wasn't quite enough room to write it all in with the amazing French name of our international runners. However, of note, there is some minor technical difficulty with Les Guerriers, specifically BB's LADX side of it. Just a minor technical glitch, some, what would you refer to it as, connection issues. We will be trying to get them up throughout, but until then, you get a lovely technical difficulties bit, and it's pretty, it's cute, it's great. That said, there will be a couple minutes before the runners start. In terms of interesting flags, I am by far not a Final Fantasy expert. I am an LADX runner, and I know I am. But for it, we do have Shard Hunt going on the Final Fantasy side. As a result, it means that our Final Fantasy runners are more or less needing to find basically every check. Things are massively shuffled among their things, and it can be anywhere. Both games have a series of trade items that matter, though the Link's Awakening side is much more based on accessibility and items that actually do things, versus the one-to-one trading that is very common of Final Fantasy in general. Now we're going to see some stuff going to Wildham's side from BB's. Again, I apologize, we will be trying to pull that up anytime we can during the stream. Whenever I've got some time, because we've got a very busy day on the schedule, to say the least. That said, it does appear they've gone with black belts for the Final Fantasy side, black mages, white mages, and the only difference is Wildham seems to have gone for a thief, probably for the runaway. I didn't get a chance to catch the Blursines, and a red mage on Lord Fizzlebeef's side. Deep breaths, I'll be fine. Thank you. Yes, it is a number of crystal shards today, though, not specifically crystals. But on the Link's Awakening side, it is 6 instruments. That is any 6, which means our runners can pick the dungeons that work best with their style, or that fit best with the items they're receiving from their Final Fantasy player, or their own routing. With it, key sanity is on, so your keys can be anywhere. We are playing with what's known as a no-woob rule set, or no wrong warp and out of bounds, which means that our runners are stuck to where they could go through normal gameplay, but they can creatively get there, so to speak. And as well, there is a good amount of interesting routing that we might be able to see throughout that I am very much looking forward to. The Guerriers took game 1, so if they manage to pull it off, they will, well, take it today. If not, we will be having the second game, or the third game, later today. But without further ado, the racers should be off in just under a minute. And we'll get another attempted shot at putting BB back in here. We blame Kevin the Earker. And yes, of note, Archipelago did upgrade to 4.2 yesterday. If you caught any of the prior races as a result of that, Rooster would have been removed because we did not change the settings. It was a new setting added and was default put to off. And as a result, it means some of the earlier races were a little skewed for Feather early. That is also something of note. Our runners are allowed to use the Archipelago hint system freely as they would like. But the only thing that the Link's Awakening player cannot do is use the hint for Feather because of its power in a no-woob setting. And whoop. Ugh, shuffling everything. It's fine. It's fine. And we are just sitting on the wait for it. Should be about man, I should take some time to breathe, shouldn't I? Feather is too strong. And there we are. Our runners are off. Let's start these timers. So it looks like we got some immediate party shuffling. And a harm 4 early. That seems pretty good. For our Link's Awakening, it seems our runners will be starting with Powder. That is not a particularly fun start. That means that they would have 3-ish checks available. We'll probably see Mikan going to the Grass Patch first as a result, and then immediately turning around. And I wish we could see what BB was up to, but yeah. Small amount of gold, good for this early shopping, but we will have to see. A quick peek into the trendy game and a fast return home for Mikevi. That is an excellent use of the save and quit warp strategies. And taking a peek at store. Store is an Archipelago item. It was... I actually missed what it was, because I am reading things backwards right now. Yep. Pop the forwards around. A shard. Excellent. Thank you, Odron. Thank you very much. So shuffling around, we are hopping into the first version of Temple of Fiends, grabbing some AP item. So unfortunately, we can't see what that is without pulling up 400 more windows, and I'm already juggling too many. We've got Mikan going to the beach. That is the last check on the list. Doot. And hookshot on the beach. That is an excellent early item. That is a weapon for many such enemies. Others it will stun, but the majority are generally killed by it. And as a result of that early hookshot, we've also got access to what would be the cave. BB and wilds are unknown. BB is... in terms of it, I will explain BB a bit. BB is actually a no-woob runner for the actual speedrunning community. The LADX runners in general have not had races in a good while, and people like to... what would be the term? Ooh, that is a power bracelet and the ribbon received on Mikanopi's side from Fizzlebeef. That is a very good opener. That basically puts the world into play. We'll see how that goes. Another quick grab here for an ice sword. Nice early equipment. Doot. Taking another quick look around. Back to what I was saying, though. BB is a very good runner, significantly better than me as well. So good at fundamentals, good at this particular glitch set. Their randomizer experience, I've seen a little bit of them in our monthly races, and they have beaten me on more than one occasion. So I would probably label them as the best runner in this, you know, even including me, but, you know, some might say otherwise. I'm very much looking forward to if we get the opportunity to race. And then in terms of the other side, I don't know a lot about Wildham beyond being a European runner, but I also know Fizzlebeef is an excellent Final Fantasy runner, so we've got some of the best runners from both communities on both sides of these races, and that's a very good balancing factor, I think, in this one. Doop. Yep. So, taking a peek. It looks like we have our ship access. I missed when that happened. On Fizzlebeef's side. And we got fighting pirates on Wildham's. Also appears we are checking... This isn't Sarda, this is the Witch's Hut, yes? Taking a fall to quick reset that room. And headed out. Probably gonna hookshot this item. Yep. Grabbing a couple of rupees. At 251 or 271, they are pretty much enough as they're going to need for the entirety of the run. Assuming that, you know, shop is in check. Grabbing that shard is probably not going to be a super early priority, but we will see later. Level 2 magic with Cure. That's at least some access to healing. Looks like we have Wildham in the same location, doing the same thing. It's a fun time. Darn, I can't make that any bigger. So doing the classic normal raccoon, quick use of powder, and more rubies. Never a fun sign. Fast is clutch. Punch, nuke, fade, and tempter. It's a spicy amount of spells. And most of those are going to be new to you for your endgame. Nuke being an excellent clear, and temper being pretty much one of your key damage dealing factors for the end. We're going to see these black belts really getting mad. Go full Hulk mode. It'll be great. While I'm taking advantage of that free bridge, quick heal, quick save. We do not have any sort of save on death within this flag set, so it is going to be an interesting time. The major things that I know of it, other than the shard hunt and the basically completely randomized incentives to sort of keep the timing between things roughly even, is a lot of, what would you refer to it as? Blarg. Spreading things out when it comes to Final Fantasy. The major difference that you'll notice between the two games, especially as you're going, is Final Fantasy has a lot of very fast checks. If you're playing the LADX side of this, you will feel more often than not the pressure of you suddenly have like 4 or 5 items coming in, and they could be any variety of things. It also appears Mikan's grabbed access to those bombs to get another thing, and the tail key. I apparently missed it. That means that our Dungeon 1 is in play, but not exactly the best choice with this item set, I would say. Using these bombs to take advantage of the switches just because the hookshot has problems going on diagonals, and skipping what that key is, that could be valuable. Now, our Link's Awakening runners do have access to being allowed to use auto-tracking, which means that they can see the number of keys they have pretty much at any time, but there is also an option in the pause menu. Bahamut's Horde is also on. Good for spamming LADX players, indeed. Speaking of, it seems Fizzle is just leaving there, if I recognize that cave correctly. You can see we got a Pediata over on Wildham's side, and yep, popping in just to grab that pile of items to send over. You can say, on the LADX side, grabbing access to the scale, not the worst. AP items, all sorts of AP items. Bahamut's Horde of stuff. It appears we picked up Ocarina at some point as well. Now, interesting combination of items here. The scale means they can do the mirror check on the Link's Awakening side, and it is a combination of items that does allow them to go to Animal Village, which is a good small cluster of checks, which is very nice. Now, that said, they don't really have anything for taking on Armos Knight for the other major check around there. We also have the very low heart count, which makes Armos Maze very not fun in and of itself. We'll see if Mikan uses any saves coming strats with it, because they might just take a quick peek down that way for the one item and leave. That said, we are doing fishing first, everyone's favorite, fish the pond and have a good time. It's a decent price on houses, not the worst in the world, as Lord Fizzlebeef explores Elfland. And level 4, there's Nuke, right there at a level 4 spell availability, which means that is a nice early nuking. Yes, quite excellent. AP items on Wildham's side, and let's see, can we try to get BB Stream back up, because it would be lovely. And just a small pittance of gold from that fishing pond. All of our efforts for nothing. Just going to focus a little bit on our non-Guerrier team for the moment. Going around Elfland, grabbing the checks in the back. 4 AP items, all back to back. Seems at least one secret seashell. So nothing majorly route changing. And running our way along, it looks like Mikan is going to make that run towards D1. Oh, and doing the front unlock, not the side. We gotta teach this. So popping into D1 with what is available here, I'm not sure about their D1 key count. But that is a free shard, so we're not going to complain there. grabbing access to the spells Invis 2 at level 4 for the White Mage as well. That is basically two of the more important spells for the late game, from what I've learned about Final Fantasy, which is enough to score me a solid C- on a test. So we continue our way through D1 here, though, which I am significantly more versed in, and grabbing our sword. That is huge. Now, in terms of their hinting, I haven't been paying a lot of attention to it, so hinting in, well, both of these games is quite valuable. You'll find that the Final Fantasy runners have a lot more leeway for the hint system, where they don't have as many key items. A Link's Awakening player will most likely use their hints either for necessary keys or necessary items for progression. And Mikan, once again, skipping the text, probably relying on the Archipelago's immediate telling back, because the, Blarg. Gargoyles with Brack? That sounds horrible. Because they rely on the Archipelago text to make up for the fact that they don't need to read, which means they can save time on that reading, which I haven't been doing, which means I now have another thing I need to do to go even faster. Canoe, floater key, and loot. Yep, those are indeed your biggest four. The other major bit is working together for the hint system. Now, there's a lot obviously needed for the Link's Awakening side, as I mentioned. There are also free hints you can get from Link's Awakening in a number of locations, which can make up the difference. And with the massive number of changes, or not changes, but checks that you have to go through, knowing any one thing is super useful. Everyone gets to speedrun, even the trackers. Yep. It's trading in that dog food on Mikan's side for a whole lot of nothing. Key for catfish. Now that is, if you are an experienced runner, the only key for catfish you should need, and the letter. So all of these letters that you see on Mikan's screen are now officially AP items. So we have Wildham has access to that key, which is one of the major, end pieces for the Final Fantasy. And checking dwarves, I'm gonna guess, yes, it appears they have an adamant, and that will get them an AP item. And TNT as well? Or going straight to the key cave? Yeah, just going straight to the key checks. These are checks, I think, 3 through 7. Or at least 7. Yeah, that key is very big. I was gonna say, and this is just more a hint, never sleep on European runners. Gonna say, avoiding that green shark encounter as Lord Fizzlebeef explores. I think this is bottom of marsh, if I know my stuff correctly. Mikan finally taking a peek around to the larger field area. Another shard. And headed into the world at large. No feather, so... Oop. Oop. A little bit of spiciness. Get a thing of arachnids. No, this isn't marsh. This is cave thing. Well, them are both very experienced runners. That they are. I can tell just from the bits. And, you know, I know Fizzle a decent amount. Taking a quick additional peek. Now, if they've got the key, that means they can get the Marsh Cave additional checks down here as well. And it appears a crystal was picked up. When did this happen? I'm paying attention to too much stuff. Alright. Doot. Open shenanigoonery around. The Nightmare Key for Face Shrine. Now that is an interesting pickup. I personally very much like Face Shrine when doing 6th Instrument. It's one where if you know the glitches for it, it can be one of the easiest, just between its boss not being sword locked and its other such things. That said, many of those glitches do require the feather, and in these settings with no shuffled dungeons or anything of the like, it also means you need to find the face key and have access to the level 2 bracelet. The level 2 bracelet being required in the dungeon, and the face key required outside of it. which, with 3 requirements, isn't going to be everyone's pick for it, unless they are saving their hints for later, which is how I tend to go. That said, we will see how that plays out as Marsh is explored. Now, Marsh is generally one of the non-incentive dungeons. Now, with everything being completely all over the place, it means that it is a number of checks right there, and they could be anything, even a new boat. That is true. Frosty is a decent amount of experience. Frosty the dragon. Decent amount of levels, getting up to taking advantage of that trap tile. So we got Wildham doing a very early grind, which is an interesting other point of, what would be the word? Not contention, but comparison between the two, is there is a decent amount of time committed to... Yeah. There's a decent amount of it committed to... Sorry. I got a message about BB's stream, just super low bitrate and not working very well. I might give it another shot, just to see if we can pull her up. So, grab that mirror check. It is a bit out of the way and not taking advantage of any save scum method. We are just walking back, which without shovel, checking the hint at the bay might have been worthwhile, but it seems like Mikan is just going to rush into Animal Village for our Animal Village checks. Meanwhile, grabbing these AP items. Should see them show over shortly. I'm guessing Fizzlebeef is taking the moment to go for a hint. Slipping on through. Taking out... I was gonna say, I am fascinated that Mikan did not take advantage of the hookshot for the first few hits on this, while this boss that definitely exists on this screen was not appeared but still loaded. Could be a matter of experience or not knowing that that's an option yet. And that is something that BB is going to definitely be taking advantage of around the same time. I say, grabbing the bomb check in here. And another item, we've got just a bit of gold. Unfortunate. We're still very early in the race, so still potential to go in any which direction and find new such things. So taking a peek at those, that's grabbing exit, because that is super useful for your speeding. Frosty has 300 HP, so yep, can't quad X immediately. That said, we are seeing that level difference, and that's going to make quite a deal as we get later into this. I'm still learning Final Fantasy. Taking your time headed around, we have the Rod on Wildham side, which is our lovely tracker socket paying close attention to the Archipelago channel for the Guerriers, just to make sure that we are not missing anything super important. Thank you kindly, Odron. Bats getting in the way in Lich's Cave. Considering that they have access to that rod, this could be making a run for an early and easy-to-beat fiend. A little more than a road bump, honestly. Because defeating any of the fiends will just grant access to shards, and those shards are going to be the difference here. It can result in a race where the Link's Awakening runner is, all but done, waiting on a specific item, and the Final Fantasy player is unable to just rush in. Ooh, we have Mikan taking a death and going all the way back to Animal Village from Armos Maze. That is rough. With that half a heart, stopping at an additional location would have really saved some time there, but it seems that they're making this play early. It could be that they've been hinted for something that way, and with Sword it is doable, just not ideal. Generally, you want something like boots or any of the other items that make the fight with Armos significantly easier. Now, that said, Mikan could also be using the hookshot to stun these Armos as they are spawning, which that might just be a matter of experience here. Oh. So grabbing some more baby items. Oh, and that's a big Armos hit. That's going to be rough. There's that hookshot coming out. Dude. Just grabbing the stick, so that is an additional trade item. And a map that is bad. You don't want to see that when doing a dip like this. As our Final Fantasy runners get ready for that Lich fight. The Piña. El Piña, no longer cold hombre. Not using the clip through. See, these are very small things that I imagine as a no-woob runner BB is going to be doing. So this is going to be a very big difference here. It's going to depend, I think, largely on how our Final Fantasy runners do here. So setting up for the spin attacks for taking out Armos, not the most fun way of dealing with it. But with that feather, that is basically most glitches available and makes this fight significantly more fun. And also, there's that face key as mentioned. So with face key in hand and access to this stuff, there is the option to go into D6. Now granted, they're not going to find flippers there, which are another very big puzzle piece. But the level 2 bracelets, with the items that they have now, is a full clear of D6. And with that Nightmare Key, as mentioned, it also means that that could be a very early first instrument. If any of them go for it. I think BB might. No, that could just be my knowledge as a no-woob runner as well, because this particular set of items is what you would normally be going into that dungeon with. Actually, you'd be going in with less because we don't do D5 until then. And with no shuffled bosses or anything of the like, it is a good time. We have Mikan opening the slime key on the correct side, not with the butt unlock. So it might just be that they do not know about the clipping unlocks. Interesting. I will have to teach them more in the future. We have cashing in the stick for the beehive, as we have fights going on with various shenaniganery. I believe this will be Fizzle going into... grabbing an AP item. Running away from bees, and it's... a bunch of money! We have Wild Ham seemingly making a run at the volcano. And it looks like Fizzle's going to potentially... oh, nope, that red mage is still doing okay. Yep. Get out of there, red mage. We gotta believe in you. And this is where... oh, nope. I'm guessing there is some AP discussion going on. And it could be that BB has an item that is going to make this volcano significantly easier. We shall see. Another quick use of the save and quit menu to skip some dialogue and get a going. And just a quick plug for the Final Fantasy Randomizer channel. If you enjoy content like this and maybe want to take part in future races, we have a Discord server. Feel free to come and join. We talk about this stuff all the time, have all the fun, and you can go at it at, I believe it is, there's an info quick tab for it. I don't remember. Someone who is an expert can pop that in, as we have Mikan checking the behind. We have the Adamant, so that is that, and we saw Wild Ham taking the benefits of that earlier. And a small heal, but sad. We tried. Dang, I can't do it either. There we go. Carant saving the day. The Lord of the Hats. So popping back into that, Fizzlebeef going to get these key checks from the back of Castle, ones that I didn't know existed when I first played. So getting some AP items, other shenanigoonery. And that is the Honeycomb, which is another trade item available. And we've got Mikan Dipping D3, which, considering their access to keys here, they've got a few. Not enough to bull rush the boss, but enough that this is probably going to be one of their 6 dungeons that they choose to do for this. Popping our way over, checking around. So, we're going to see the super jump. Yay! Alright, the good old peg skipping super jump. Now, without boots, the other skip is not as available. Now, they could do it with the hook shot if they know the trick, which it does not seem like they do. They're also not going to go for the extra checks that way as well. I don't blame them with their number of keys. Preserving keys to try to maybe push this boss later is probably the better idea. And yes, there is an issue with BB's stream. It is a very low bitrate problem where it is just not coming through at all. It will not stay open or consistently. They are locally recording for the purpose of, integrity when it comes to these races. So we will check it after the fact, but until then, we're hoping that things come back, but if they don't, we just have to rely on this lovely image of the Maddie character, very confused by whatever is on that piece of paper. Ooh. We got the Dunk Dongos going. And killing one and leaving does set that room to a finished state. And picking up our boots item, and it's a seashell. Womp womp. Never what you want to see. I'm gonna say access to Song 3 is an interesting scenario. So it is one check in the entire game, and the ability to get into D8 if you want to do it logically. But if you don't, the D3 or the Song 3 is still mildly useful if you are going to fight Gomas. Now, in this particular rule set, with the differences between AP and base Link's Awakening DX, there are no randomized mini-bosses, so the only times you're fighting Gomas is if you do not know the skip for them in D5. But still a useful thing to know if you do need to, or if for any reason you're going to need to re-dip D5, you can fight them to activate the portal. Grabbing up that heart piece real quick, as Fizzle is making the same run to Volcano that Wildham already has. Oh, no, stopping by getting the revive first, and moving our puncher to the back. That poor glass cannon. As we round up the 30-minute mark, we have no instruments as of yet, but they are within arm's reach, just a couple of keys away, and we have a number of shards, sadly. It's a bit too much for me to keep track of on that regard. I'm gonna say less than half of our required shards, just taking a peek at Wildham's menu there. So we have an AP item to be coming through, that is bombs. Not useful when we already have them, since we can simply scoop them out of the air. And I say, of note, missing on the LADX side, Shovel is a lot of checks, Boots is required if we're going to fight the D3 boss, and really the Rod would be nice, but level 2 Sword could also function with it. In terms of it, Flippers are still very necessary for getting through the rest of the world, and Bow or Boomerang are going to be needed by the end. We have Wildham taking on Carry, gonna grab those free shards. Never a bad plan. The Punch-O-Matic doing Punch-O-Matic things. Black Mage down, Black Mage down. Reading Final Fantasy spells backwards is the best time. You see, we do have that grinding advantage on Wildham's side, where they took those Frost Dragon fights. Now, we do have the Cube. Cube itself does not do much. You need Chime and Cube for the dungeon that, well, requires them both, obviously. The Mirage Tower. But popping into Volcano, grabbing those shards, I'm guessing there was probably a hinted item down there. And doing the nice corner jump here from Mikan. Grabbing a Katana, now that is a big weapon for this team. Because from what I understand, I believe... Is it the Masa anyone can use? No, Katana is a thief weapon, which means it's still good. But our black belt is the Punchtron. He doesn't care. It masses everyone, Katana is not. That said, Katana should be allowed to go on a red mage, correct? I could look it up. Oop. It looks like Wildham might be taking a loss to this carry here, unless... Nope! Last minute harm! Look at that. White mage for the win. And drink all these pots in case there's an encounter in that one step. There it is. Rusin up. Agamar. Dude. There is the toadstool in the color dungeons. That is just one check with the witch. It is the trade item that is not a trade item and is retrievable multiple times. You can also use it to pit buffers, so we can see if Mikan tries anything along those lines. Not sure they will. Color dungeon is an interesting choice. It is the one dungeon on the list where you can't get an instrument from it, so it is less incentivized to do over basically any other dungeon in the game. That said, with Key Sanity on, it does have a good number of checks, especially if you have keys for it. And the bosses in it are not too hard. You can generally beat everything in this dungeon with just Bracelet and Feather. And obviously something to... Ooh! Save and quitting out to save from the death. Interesting choice. Mikan not feeling confident in that fight. That is one of the worst fights when it comes to the stun mechanic in Link's Awakening, just because it is unavoidable even on a jump. But gonna cash in that mushroom, the sleepy toadstool, as Wildham revives up the team. Got the squad going, got the crown achieved. Picking up some houses, lots of them. Take advantage of, well, gonna need them. Health good. And picking up seemingly nothing. Fizzle check of these chests. Those good old land sharks. Actually, they're volcano sharks. Does that make them lava sharks? Dude. Grabbing that hint real quick. And stopping by Moblin Cave. Moblin Cave is another sword-locked area in terms of actually beating the boss, and the rooms in the beginning do not stay done. Grabbing some bombs from these AP items. Secret seashell, some arrows. Not what we want to see right now. Really, we want to see dungeon keys, largely. Now, I also wonder with this particular out, or combination of things, if BB has perhaps dipped D5. Now, it is one that you generally need flippers to get into, but there is a very precise, what's the name of the trick? Jesus jump you can do to get in there without them. So you need to land right on the door. Oop. And Mikan losing the hit on Boss Moblin. No! And quickly finishing that up. And we've got a cabin. Darn. A lot of effort for not a lot of payout. Grabbing these KOs. And swinging ourselves around. So we're getting deeper into Volcano. I'm guessing Lord Fizzle's going to be going for that carry fight as well. Taking advantage of these heals just to get through this as fast as possible. Yes, do not find gels during Eagle. It is a bad time. How bosses in Link's Awakening work is that the game checks that there is not an enemy entity on screen. So if you get something like a Zolstorm or gels in the middle of a boss fight, the end result is the game's like, nah, there's still a slime on there. You didn't finish this dungeon. Gonna say Mikan with no keys for D2, so just grabbing the extra check that Feather allows for, and headed out there. Blue Tunic, not the worst thing in the world. It's going to make those low hearts significantly more tolerable to be having all incoming damage. Grabbing our way around, we've got a good selection of equipment going on, starting to run out of space, and a lot of this not super useful, such as the Dragon Sword. I did not see if anyone had legendary swords on their thing, because again, I did not get to see any of the blur scenes. But with only a black belt as Fizzle's major damage dealer, things like the Dragon Sword that, for my knowledge, are only really equipable by the Knight, are not going to go over particularly well. That said, they can still be sold for money as necessary. Now, we did see Exit. We have not seen Warp to take advantage of certain Ice Cave shenanigans. Dragon Sword usable by Red Mage? Well, it could be useful later then. Tiamat is a mess. Not a necessary mess. Got Mikan doing the raft game. My favorite gamble. Will they check the hint? That is the big question. Hopping down both. Ooh, picking up some powder and bombs on the way. Can't complain. There are those flippers. That is huge. That is access to T5 using non-cheaty standards. And saving and quitting out of the other item real quick. Not grabbing that hint. That is rough. With the new changes to the hint system that they can basically tell you where anything is, including items for your allies and if they are in other people's worlds, that seems almost like a waste not to grab it. Especially when you're at this stage of it where A, it's right there, and B, there's still a lot of things necessary to get to the end. That said, took Raft Game all the way through and is going back up towards D4. They don't seem to have Angler Key. They might be headed up mountain. No, they're going to do the flippers checks. I'm gonna say a save and quit would have taken them right back up without having to go down that extra bit, so that is a little bit of time lost that I can imagine our team, the Guerriers, is going to take full advantage of. Yep. The 4.2 changes, just so people know, and if you are listening back to this in the future, the new hint system allows that, again, your AP items can be hinted for as well. There is a percentage chance of either something that is useful, something that is useless, or a joke. That said, the useless ones can still be, there is a check here done, you don't need to go there. And then on the opposite end of it, the Rooster has been made into an optional choice, which means that some of our seeds yesterday during that change did result in not having Rooster. It was very sad. He is a good friend. The best friend, best of all best friends. Good old O, our Mumbo's Mumbo. And we have Fizzobeef also stuck to White Mage against this carry. She is a meanie. And stun locked. Oh no! Oh, there goes that white mage. No clutch for Fizzle, and that is going to put what I'm going to say is probably both runners of the other team, the team's name is eluding me right now. Ah, the Pegasus boats, yes. Both members of the Pegasus boats now probably significantly behind after that. This could be a rough game of catch-up. I say, only imagining the shenanigans BB's been getting into. I say, between levels and that, this could be the deciding match. Gold in the river, never a fun time, and swimming all the way back, oof, we need to teach Miken some save and quit strats. The wee little shenanigans. Yes. Gonna say, we got groups of Caribs on both sides of the Final Fantasy arc. Miken taking the long swim around. We got the Ro8. It's a great time. Fizzle headed to Ice Cave, an interesting choice. Granted, with the shard sets and again, this particular set of flags, that is the term, checking Ice Cave is not as detrimental as normal. There is every chance of incentivizing being in there. Mikan picking up a golden leaf. Mikan might actually be intending to use those golden leaves as necessary. Most of our glitched runners in the no-whoop set, it is possible to skip past their requirement, but that said, not knowing that trick means that it is a very rough one to get. Also one that is often very out of logic, because unless you're getting all 5 leaves very early, the game tends to not care. Oop. Just a quick cabin. Headed into the Ice Cave Holy Rooms. One knockoff Mind Flayer, definitely a sorcerer. Dude, you gotta pick up. Now, I haven't paid too much attention to the Nightmare Key situation, but that is where I would assume our runners of the Link's Awakening are majorly running into their roadblocks. Because we have Bird Key available, we have basically everything needed to go up mountain between Feather and Boots, and access to Hookshot means pretty much D7 is already in go mode, assuming you know the appropriate no-whoop glitches. Which means between that, D6, and not quite D3 because we don't know if they have Boots yet, but those are 2 dungeons that are pretty much in play, and they are not horribly hard ones to do either. Mind your own business, Flair? That checks out. Taking on our Ball and Chain Knight, only one of him in the game. Very sad. A holdover from when the game was a Link's Awakening demake. And skipping past that. It's a house. In this economy, we'll take it. Taking advantage of more holy rooms. Bunch of whites. Taking another death on Fizzle's part. And not taking Frost Dragon experience. Now granted, their level could be high enough that it's not as valuable. But this seat proving to be a little rough for Fizzle. Am I talking about Season's Ball and Chain guy there? No, I am talking about Link's Away or a Link to the Past. Sorry. My bad. It was a Link to the Past remake for the longest time of its development. Just an interesting fun fact. It was made to be Link to the Past on Game Boy, and was changed mid-cycle into what it is today. My favorite Zelda game. So the Ball and Chain Knight in there was because they obviously built the cells and such. Still had the AI for him working when they started changing the entire system to run the way it did, and it's just a holdover. Of which there are quite a few. It's also why you have many of the same items. Fizzle taking another DL to these sorcerers. That said, really determined to get through this ice cave. My guess is there is a very good incentive item there. Or not incentive item, but an item for our LADX runner. Sadly, we can't see BB's side to know. Slipping on in, sliding on through. Still making these Ds as the Agamas cause misses. Grabbing those levels to 17. So Wildham taking another dip through Lich's place. As we have Mikan taking on D5. Piece of wood, yep. Everyone's favorite. Now granted, not knowing the trick does mean that it could still be useful. Mikan knows a few key glitches, but not all of them. So their breadth of knowledge could mean that that shield changes routing a bit in an important way. Gotta say, good old wizards. That AP item of Zol's, everyone's favorite. Tail Cave's Nightmare Key. That is a very easy dungeon to take care of, and with all of this equipment and health available, should be very much a take for the 6 instrument choice. Mikan avoiding going to the end so far, so it looks like they did the end of the dungeon first and are now going back for Master Stalfos. An interesting choice. And also not going for any sort of quick kill. That said, it's a safe kill, so we can't complain. Oop. That back belt getting all the experience from this ant. Agama. I feel like this is Wildham going for the... this is the Hall of Giants, if I recall correctly. So the trap tile is randomized to be an Agama, and they are taking that experience on the black belt, trying to get to that black belt range of being very stupid and getting, I believe it's 12 hits with fast? It's a crazy number of hits. And that is level 23. So quite a while to go, but we will see it happen. Mikan getting a key from the, well, Nightmare Key chest here in D5. Said I imagine we will see them going for D1. Let's pop between a couple of different things here. There's like far too many notes for me to go back with, sadly. Just taking a quick look at BB's bits, there is a Bottle Grotto Nightmare Key having been grabbed. So, interestingly enough, that could be another dungeon on the go. It is one that does not require an entrance key. And that is the boots down in D5, which means now D3 is an option for finishing as well. Which means in terms of, well, things that I would complete, I believe we have about 4 or 5 dungeons that can just be beeline right now. And only needing 6, that is a good place that you want to be in. Boots get, gotta go fest. Taking another Master Stalfos kill. As Fizzle is getting deeper into there. Piece of heart. I was gonna say, an interesting fact about the AP items is, though they say AP item in the Final Fantasy Individuals ROM, they do technically, or they can technically be for either player, whether they are the randomized ones selected for for them, or the ones for the Link's Awakening player, which is an interesting fact if they end up in, say, the shop, where you'll see AP item, spend a bunch of money, and as my partner Darkmoon forgot, a heal. It was a very sad time. Ugh. Sipping our way through. What's our black belts level up to? Ooh, swapping to the first slot. Interesting. Within that one punch range, it seems. So my guess is taking advantage of that slot just for the damage. Up to 7 hits. Ooh, going to 4th slot. We're good. Level 30, so 12-ish more levels. I was gonna say, and it does look like the hint, or the loot was hinted for, which is interesting. That is generally the sign that Wildham is ready to hit go mode between, I'm guessing, number of shards remaining available. If I had to place money on it, I would say BB is probably very close to finishing their seed, and resulting in a massive dump that's just going to take Wildham directly to the end. Hey, those 20 rupees are very deluxe. And Master Stealth was for everyone's least favorite check because it requires fighting him 4 times in 4 different sections of the dungeons in order. And peeling him away for a seashell. That is not a fun time. Taking a return home out there. So yes, 4 dungeons just readily doable. Mika not immediately going for the D1 clear. Interesting. What are they up to? I'm curious. Headed for D2? Maybe they're going for D7. Let him cook? Alright, we'll let him cook. As Fizzle takes another shot at Volcano. So we are going up mountain for D7? I'm guessing something was hinted for. Ah, the Catfish Ma's Nightmare Key was hinted for, as well as the Floater, which Floater appears to be in Turtle Rock, which is going to be a big problem, so that will be where Mikan is headed to. Just beelining straight for Turtle Rock with that shield. Are they going to turn into the pineapple? They are, so they are grabbing the various checks along the way. Yes, Catfish Maw Nightmare Key at the Tall Tall Mountains Mad Batter as well. So this is a very big everything at D8 sweep that they need to do. But with Mikan grabbing these checks along the way, which, considering Wildham seems to have finished that black act belt grinding, might be a little too late. That said, these are all very good runners. So, such little differences in the play have probably made all of the difference here. Again, very sorry we don't have BBs, simply internet issues that could not be overcome in time for the race. We did not want to have it result in a disqualification, so that is being locally recorded and will be checked at a later date, but until then, we still gotta do our job here. is the Nightmare Key for Color Dungeon, not the one we want to see, as that is just 2 checks. Not access to any instruments. Wild Hand taking a long ocean trip, tiny canoe trip, and cashing in that floater so we can guess where BB is just at, based on those hint locations. If I had to place a bet on it, I would say Wild Ham probably made that same hint significantly earlier. We're grabbing the secret shop for just a couple of houses. But Wild Ham likely made that hint earlier, and BB was headed that way probably some time ago, giving Wild Ham that opportunity to just simply grind. And it looks like Fizzlebeef is now also taking advantage of that same kind of a grind, though using this trap tile here instead of the Hall of Giants ones. Interesting choice. Granted, with these green sharks, they are not a terrible bit of experience. We got a black belt and a dream. Future rounds will have no black belt available, so you gotta take advantage of it when you can. I'm not colorblind, you can't prove anything. I guess they are gray sharks. Alright. So we have Mikan grabbing this D5 Nightmare Key, which is going to be pretty much, I think, the last dungeon they should need access to. So that means I would say Mikan is likely either in go mode or very close to it, assuming they know the D7 tricks. Gonna say that was an accidental jump, it looks like, because yes, they are going for D8 for that floater. The Groove Shark. Always a fun time. Grabbing the shield out, so we are going to do the vanilla version of the flames. Just push our way through. And Mikan is off to D8. And I'm gonna guess we probably won't see the bomb trigger, we will see... yeah, actually using the song. So I have not seen Mikan do a bomb trigger yet. It could be that they do not know how to perform one. And that is why they have put this off this long. Or at least how to perform this particular bomb trigger. And not walking through Turtle Rock either. Ooh. We're going to have to see if Fizzle can pull through on the LADX side. Now granted, it could be anticipating multiple D8 dips, and this does save having to play that song again or do a bomb trigger again. So there is an option. Enjoying the jams? I'm gonna have to change those jams over at some point. Doing some nice swanky dodging. AP item achieved. With Wild Ham still grabbing, I'm going to largely guess that this is intended to be either shards or these are key pieces for BB's strategy. Sadly, me going to check it is going to be through the delay. Yeah, so it seems they have Angler's Tunnel Nightmare Key. Appears Angler's Tunnel Nightmare Key is in vanilla location, which means that BB has that Angler Key and has gotten in there, which means BB is undoubtedly in go mode based on having been to these same locations already. Meanwhile, Mikan looking for that floater. I did not check the exact Turtle Rock location for that hint, but we shall see where she be. Securing the Oxy Ale, Wild Ham taking a Kraken fight for the, I believe, 4 shards it offers. as Fizzle continues to grind up Mr. Punch. Ooh, Kraken with Nuke. That is a bad time. However, get through it. Black Belt OP. Alright, reviving up that thief. And only a handful of shards from Wildham hitting Go mode. Release the Nuken. Bracken that Kraken. Indeed. Yep, that is BB picking up Instrument 3, as well as Instrument 4, so I am guessing they are just in boss go mode, and we will see a dump happen for Wildham shortly. That said, the timer doesn't stop until both runners are over the line. And then that Vire for the Piece of Heart. Still not found that floater yet in here. Could be a lack of familiarity with the individual check names. Ooh, and getting knocked into the pit. You never want to see that happen. Because that resets all of these boss rooms on the way in there. I say just ignoring that check for now, and I do not blame them. That is a rough one to go back for when you are already in a situation of needing to find the floater and get going. I was gonna say, it also appears, just looking through the bits, BB also has the Full Moon Cello from D1, and those hints are probably going to be getting the D2 instrument shortly as well. As we go through, grabbing 99 heal pots, always a good time. Bunch of houses. Wildham grabbing these through, probably mostly looking for shards more than anything else at the moment. I believe is it a full 32 shards required. And that will likely have been the floater. Yep, we have Fizzle already on the way there to cash that in and hit the skies. Wildham getting the chime, getting in there, going for Tiamat for another 4 shards. I'm gonna say, we can probably assume they have the cube as well if Fizzlebeef has found it at this point. They would not be taking this dive if they did not. I think I see it there in their inventory. It's hard to read backwards. That said, an extra special thank you for the tracker today. I know I am hard to follow sometimes, but Socket has been doing a wonderful job keeping up with my commentary. Especially with how much I've missed and how much he's managed to catch. Taking these Dodongos from the top. Now this is a section that you can super jump up to just because of the proximity of the walls. This is probably how most people would have dealt with this room as a kid playing this game for the first time. It is rough to do, to say the least. It is not fun. Intended strat indeed. You do need to fire down, get those 3-pointers. They can be both too close and too far. It's the worst. Oop. There we go. Popping it and grabbing it. Alright, picking up those chicks. It looks like 4 shards away from Wildham finishing up. Taking a moment to hint, it looks like. And yep, there it is. Say we have Conchorm achieved on BB's side. Say Wildham just waiting. Big dumpy of items. We have Mikan headed into D3, likely to fight that boss? No, going to go get the boots checks first. Which, there is a Nightmare Key. I am guessing that was possibly hinted for. We are headed in for those bootstraps. Taking out the enemies in this room when it is not necessary. Granted, I have that same bad habit, so I am far from anyone to complain about it. Grabbing all these fun chests. Gonna say, and going backwards to do this. An interesting choice when you can just push through, but also the fun glitches of the chests showing up a square down. If you're in the square, they would show up. I love it when that happens. It's always a fun time. A save and quit out, and leaving without taking that boss down. Mikan, why? Not enough keys, maybe? That's 2 keys, and they did take the boss down, so it might just be not enough keys. Oof. That is not a position you want to be in. Of note, if you do not kill the mini-boss, you can use it for what is known as a Dodongo skip. And it can skip you 2 keys towards getting towards the end. I'm gonna say, and if I were a betting girl, I would say we are going to see, after that Tiamat fight, we are going to be going straight to Topher. Because that is full shards, Wildham in full go mode. And with the black belt in death version. I'm gonna say no tail for promotion, but you know what? When you're running a black belt, do you really need promotion? All you need is fist. And we do have short Topher, so it is just 4 quick fights. Smack from the Lich, smack from the Thief, and Ice 2. And there's the fast going on, that's all the hits in the world, a harm 4, and... oh, nope. I underestimate the health of Fiends. Ooh, Blizzard, that's painful. And there we go. Taken down. Mikan grabbing that Mad Batter. Magic Powder. Well, it's a refund. Gonna say, and we are getting word through delay, sadly, that we have a potential victory. So Kraken still being Kraken. Ooh. Thief down, we don't care too much. Ooh. White Mage down. Alright, we care a little bit. But we have punches. No more Kraken. But that means no more life as well, so this is a run into Tia and Chaos with just a fist and a nuke, which are the two things you want in your hands when you're facing off. A black belt in the dream. Will he man mode with these sabers? Ooh, big spells. I think we're going to be drinking every pot in the pack before this Chaos fight. Kung Fu Dreams. And we have Lord Fizzlebeef taking on the first Kraken. Gonna say a quick swapping of the guard, so to speak. Trying to get that black belt as ready as possible for this. So Ruse staffing up. Ooh, health not looking great. But the Heal Helm really going to make the difference with these randomized spells. .420 health, nice. As we have Mikan taking on our Catfish Maw boss, my least favorite. Come on, Funny Hand Man. You heard it, folks. Come on, Funny Hand Man, you can do it. Ooh, lightning. Haven't seen much too bad. In Nuke Survival Runs, and there goes Chaos, and that is time there. Dude. And word in, though they are not finished yet by our delay time, the team Les Guerriers de l'Omelette have finished up with a time of 1:19:57. So 5 minutes from now, BB finished the seed. That said, I have put out the offer, and they seem to want to come in for an interview. So, les nous parler de français pour BB. Bienvenue, comment ça va? GG's indeed to our winners for this matchup. I was gonna say, it's very disappointing we couldn't get BB's feed, though. Just looking at the AP script for it, it looks like it was rather quick near the end, especially.
The quick state, I mean, we didn't have at this time any problem with the nightmare keys much.
Yeah. Nightmare keys are always the rough part.
Yeah. And the cards were plentiful this time.
Going to swap the audio over just so that y'all can finish up as you want.
I see Lord Fizzlebeef isn't too far behind me. Was there any big divergence or?
Yep, not too far behind at all. It was fairly close on the FF side. You were grinding for the end significantly closer to the beginning. Again, we couldn't see BB to know what was going on that side, but my guess is they found a very quick go mode based on, again, just what I saw from what you guys hinted for and when you hinted for it.
Yeah, I think by that time I was only needing the floater really to have the final item get going. So we thought I had some time to grind at that moment.
That said, so I've been curious to what people have been hinting for throughout. So I caught the loot hint, which generally says that our Final Fantasy players in more or less go mode, just waiting on the requisite shards to do so. What did BB hint for, out of curiosity?
It was mostly key, I think, because we got you got a few good items right from the start, and
yep, that early feather that I did see Mick pick up, big.
Yeah, it was mostly dungeon key and the nightmare key.
I always find the nightmare keys to be the big one whenever I'm running. Then again, they and I am not sure BB's gender, and I apologize for that. But yeah, they and I are both talented no-woob runners, if our times are to be considered, so I imagine our things are very similar of get the items that we can at the beginning and save those hint points for the end when we're just looking for what equates to needles and haystacks.
Yeah, well, of course, on the FFR side, I mean, the canoe is the big item.
Oh yeah, I missed the canoe pickup. But
yeah, this time it was in Arcade. You could get it early, but Arcade was pretty awful. I don't know if Lord Fizzlebeef had any problem with it, but
I believe Lord Fizzle took deaths to Ice Cave multiple times, getting whatever was down there, and Volcano at least once. I remember watching, and when I was watching that, and just again knowing the skill level of BB, I'm like, well, this might be the nail in the coffin here.
But yeah, Cave had like gargoyles, casting.
Oh yes, that was.
The stuff. There was the Agamas at Toxic. No, it was pretty bad, so I didn't like it. Was get the canoe and just get the hell out of it.
Qu'est-ce que c'est canoe en français?
Well, canoe.
Still canoe.
It's very much the same thing.
Well, I am one of those filthy French Canadians where we butcher the language royally. Because it does look like Miken is hitting the point of rushing bosses as well, so they may see an end fairly shortly here too, as well.
They only have one instrument, is that it?
Yes, they have only picked up the D5 instrument for now. And a large bit of that, just largely is the difference in skill level, I think, between Miken and BB. Just in watching, Miken definitely has a lot of the basics quite down, but still has not learned seemingly a couple of the major glitches that help you get through dungeons really quickly. And Rod for Fish is not a good idea. Fish actually resists Rod. That said, we have Fizzle taking on Sky for Tiamat, and I would assume the last couple of shards required if both of them are in the mode that they are. No yeeting Mosses out of windows yet. There is grabbing the Surf Harp. So that will be Instrument 2. Yep, so the 6 shards left for Fizzlebeef required. And just grabbing the last couple of things, seemingly for Miken. With the access to Nightmare Keys that they have, this is a position I think they could get away with just bum rushing things. There is that Nightmare Key for D2 as well, so that is basically all Nightmare Keys, whichever dungeons Miken is most comfortable with.
Did Lord Fizzlebeef dive Marsh Cave?
I don't remember if he died in Marsh Cave specifically. I was juggling a lot of things.
Yeah, the beginning was quite hectic.
Yeah, like I said, I was watching 2 Ice Cave dips die. What was in Ice Cave that was important to go for? I did notice you in there very briefly, but did not catch what anyone picked up because AP item, and obviously couldn't see BB's side of things.
I don't think it was really anything much. It was just to get some check because I didn't have the photo yet, so it was either Ice Cave or Marsh Cave.
Yeah.
And I chose to go to Ice Cave.
Ah, yes. I remember Fizzle in Marsh. It didn't seem like I didn't notice any deaths in Marth, but I did notice a lot in Ice Cave, and I would guess that it was looking for Floater. I did check into their notes. They did hint for Floater, so that was when Miken made a very sudden rush for D8 without the requisites to actually finish it.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's really gonna do. As I am learning, though, I need to teach the I need to teach the LA runners more.
Do you have like I know on the FFR side you have the ducking programs. Do you have something like that on the LADXR?
We do not at the moment. We generally just have like occasional weekly races. We try to make them accessible for new players, and then a monthly, which is all done async and at your own leisure. Though, I probably should. Maybe I'll start something along those lines. Consider a Link's Awakening teaching program.
Yeah, well, I think it's one of the best programs of the FFR Discord. It's the playing program.
Oh, definitely. I actually have fans of mine that want to see me as a duckling next go around. Because currently I've done one whole FFR seed. It took me 5 hours.
Well, I'm sure you got you're in it for a while. You could pick up quickly after that.
Oh, probably. As it stands, like I said, I've done the 1 seed because I was helping out with some stuff here and a couple of different marathons. And then I put it on as a stream reward. If people pay 10 or 30,000 points, I will play an FFR seed.
Oh.
Yep. So people can make me play more, and I have one person I know is saving up for it because they want to see me as a duckling.
Alright, so that might be soon then.
Yep, here's hoping. Here's hoping it's not when I want to stream Baldur's Gate on Thursday, though. I really want to play Baldur's Gate. Fizzle with 2 shards to go, having picked up Tiamat. Mikan grabbed the Thunder Drum, now headed to D1 to go pick up the Cello. An easy pickup. Just taking our peeks. Oop! Missed the jump. And Fizzle going to Volcano. Fizzle did fall to carry. Did not have the same amazing white mage clutch that you did there, Wild.
Oh yeah, that was scary. I wasn't sure I was going to make it, but
Yep. Fizzle did not, and it set behind, well, obviously these 2 shards in particular. But I imagine we will see both of them finishing around the same time as well. Just with how things are going. Or Mikan will fall in a hole. I just want to cuddle Mikan so badly. I think it's okay. Four hits to Moldorm, down he goes. Getting the pittance reward and going and grabbing that cello for instrument number 4, 2 to go. Which, with every key and everything available, we will see which 2 they prefer. And punched down. That is the last of the charge for Fizzle Beef, which means we're going to see another trip to Quick Topher.
what did he grind on the Agamas too?
He ground on the double gray shark tile, actually, in...
Oh.
I think it was in Volcano. It was the one he went for. I remembered that you were in the Hall of Giants when I noticed what was going on. I have upgraded my knowledge from a C- to a C-, but slightly less bad.
Yeah, with the XXX Triple X shirt, I really wanted to see an eye, but that wasn't meant to be.
Yeah. And we've got Speed Bump version 2, and there he goes! The van goes on. Mikan popping these keys, headed down to D3. Woo! A nice hop, and we must teach this boy. The ladder drops. And here goes Kraken 2. I wasn't even paying attention to carry 2. Got that temper cast up. I think by this point you had lost your thief, correct?
Yeah, he was that one. Then Kraken killed the white mage.
Yep.
That was sad.
It was very sad. I was watching it, I'm like, oh, this might be interesting. This could be a mild chance to catch up. But it turned out to not be the case.
It was a good thing that we had the saber shirt, because I don't know if where the bulk was.
Yes.
It helped a lot.
So Tiamat being a bully. So that heal up. And we've got Fizzle taking on Chaos with a full party this time. No black belt solo mode. Granted, when you've got a heal shirt, do you need anything else? And it looks like instrument 6 that Miken's gonna go for is Bottle Grotto. Not a terrible choice, especially if they know the quick kill for Genie. That said, healing up against this Chaos. Hitting him up with the backwards magic spells that I still can't read. Fading up. Chaos going with that nuke. Fasten up the black belt. All the punches, 12 hits. Tempering them up. All the extra damage. Let's go! We gotta believe. Believe, 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 believe. Minor stall. Thinking, punches, and terminated. That is Fizzle Beef over the line. But we still need Miken to finish up, which should not take too long. And as Chaos bids our farewell, let's see about getting some fresh tunes going. One half of those G's going into our good friend the Genie. Let's see those dodges, Miken. Four, 5, 6, 7, 8, and we are good. Got that rod hit. Don't avoid the text. Oof. Ooh, no corner strats. We are doing this the old-fashioned way. Which means we have to listen to him laugh at us 3 whole times. I must teach this child to bully Genie.
What's the correct strat?
The correct strat is clipping into the top corner closer to the door. So in this, or in the way I'm seeing it, will be the right one, but it will be the left one when you're actually playing. You clip into the top wall there, facing to the left, and you throw the pot while you're clipped in. The game basically bounces the pot off the wall multiple times and gets all 3 hits instantly, instead of having to throw it 3 times.
Oh, yeah.
And then as a result, you can quickly kill him with Rod, as expected, grab his item, and be out the door. You can also clip him into the torches there the same way, but it is a little more finicky just because they are not so long. No bully still, baby? I'm sorry, Miken. I do not bully. I wish to teach the baby. Speaking of, it does appear they are done in terms of actually getting them in here for a bit of an interview, considering we have other stuff going on very shortly. So I'm going to grab them in to talk about it as Miken goes into the Deathel fight, and they can regale us with the tale of how this is going to go.
Oh, wow.
Yes. Pulling you in a little early, just before the Deathel fights.
Yeah, so I had a little bit of a time crunch today, so...
It's all right. I'm technically on a time crunch, too.
Yeah, that was fun.
It definitely was. I have also learned I need to teach you many things, Miken.
Hey, you know what? For my first actual 2 races, and learning wall jumps literally a half hour before the race, I'll take it.
You know what? Considering that's your bit, I will take it too. Keeping the time that close together, even without knowing the level of tricks and such necessary, because BB is a major no-woo runner, just like I am.
Oh yeah.
So not knowing the degree of tricks that we do and still keeping it within 20 minutes is very impressive.
I try.
Yeah. Gonna say we'll give it this time next year when we're trying something like this again, and watch as you beat me. It'll be great.
Oh no, never, never.
Oh, it'll happen. My movement is crusty at best.
That's gonna require a lot of teaching on your part.
Well, I don't mind teaching. Wildham was just asking if the LADX community had any such teaching things like the ducklings, and that might be something that I have to start doing.
That wouldn't be a bad idea. Like, also, I enjoy Bibby's stock photo.
Yes, my stock photo of my character just reading a piece of paper. It's fine. Technical difficulties. So, how did this Deathel fight go?
Honestly, not bad. Dethel's eye just didn't want to open, and I got a little too aggressive and almost died
Yep,
near the end.
it never wants to open.
Oh, I forgot to look where Boomerang was. Where's Boomerang? Found there.
I was peeking it a little bit throughout.
Oh,
Oops.
Chitterrock.
I was checking your things a little bit, just catching some of your hints. I caught when I don't remember what you guys hinted for, but I have been curious about that, since that's obviously the big divider for a lot of racers. So BB hinted a lot of nightmare keys near the end rather than any of the build-up items, because knowing the logic and how the game wants you to play versus how much you can get away with means that us more experienced runners tend to be doing that. But what were your hints there, Miken, for helping you get through stuff?
So after game one, we realized, because after game one, we hinted basically just for like the big progression items, boomerang, boots, progressive bracelets, shield, things like that. And they were like, oh, this is not how we should be doing it after we talked to Bibby and them after game one.
Yeah.
So since we knew I was new, I kind of wanted to hint for, we needed to hint for boots so I can kind of maybe go faster.
Yeah.
And then we did Nightmare Keys.
Yeah.
To dungeons that I like could at the time beat.
Yeah, so considering boots, while it makes you go faster, is only actually necessary for like 2 or 3 major enemies and checks. I normally don't hint for them often. My race earlier today, for example, we got a very early D6 Nightmare Key, and the first major hints I did, other than helping with finding the canoe for Dark Moon, was hinting for the level 2 bracelet and the face key so that I could go do that, because by the time I was actually getting ready to hint for anything, I was more or less just in I just need keys. And D6 was a dungeon I wanted to do.
Yeah, I'm just glad I didn't have to touch 7 today.
I was going to say, 7 is my favorite. You don't need anything for it. Just feather in a dream.
It's just the routing of 7 just kills me every single time.
I don't blame you. The routing for 4 is starting to affect me a little bit, because I've watched some other runners play well with it and realized there's like things I could be doing better. As well, something for your future runs, I did watch you go into the Canalet Canal and proceed to not save and quit out of it.
Yeah, I kind of just because I was gonna go straight to into the castle.
Yeah.
So
What you
I guess
can
I should have just like gone into the connector to the castle, then gone into the moat to save and quit.
go into the phone booth right next to the castle.
Okay.
Yeah, because the connector cave is a 2D section. When you save and quit, you won't go back to it.
Okay, that makes sense.
That's it. How did you feel about the run, Fizzle, as I mentor Meekin?
Well, I got punched in the face early, often. The solid first half of it was me just getting punched in the face over and over and over by everything. Every time I felt like I found something I wanted, it just punched me in the face. I guess the first one was I found, what was that first tile I found in Marsh that I was happy about that then turned around and did something?
I
think it was slimes that...
I thought it was the 2 sharks, maybe. I don't know.
That was later.
I know you ground on
punched me in
that.
the face later. Yeah, I wanted to grind on Agama, but I saw Toxic, and with how RNG had been going, I was just like, nope, 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 nope. So then I found the sharks. I couldn't take them when I first found them, but was just like, I mean, they're not gonna toxic me to death, so like, we'll take this. Went to Ice Cave, died 50 times to Lightning 3 sorcerers that were everywhere. Died to the images with damage poison. Died to the specters with fire 3. Died to gargoyles with crack. Yeah, that was my time. How was your time, Wildham?
Yeah, pretty much the same. Our cave was just dreadful, but as soon as I got the canoe, I just like, nope, I'm done here. I'm going
I made it one check after the canoe to get the cube, and then died, and was just like, I'm just gonna pretend there aren't 2 other boxes down there, and we're just gonna leave.
Yep.
Yeah, so I went back to the Agama since when BB found a ribbon, and then that went okay. But yeah, I would really like to have found a DI with the XXXX shirt.
Yeah.
Really easy. I was wondering, what's up with the red mage?
No nuke scared me into taking a red mage because I was worried that, like, what if nuke was the only low-level spell that was good?
Yeah.
I was 1 for 2 on that. There was just no good low-level magic. Like,
Arm 4 did some work, but yeah. Not enough.
Harm 4 was doing Ice 2 numbers for me.
I was gonna say. So that said, we have other things going on at the moment. It looks like it's still a hot mess of trying to figure things out today. This does take the game 3 off of later things, so I think the next thing majorly that will be happening on FFR is the Luffy versus Duskflume SGL live race, and we should start letting people start to prepare for that later. That is in a couple of hours. Is there anything else anyone wants to finish up by saying?
Thanks to Fizzle for taking me under their wing for a team to have a little bit of fun in these past couple weeks.
Thanks for Mike Nikopi for letting me swear at him for the better part of 90 minutes.
I recommend, if you have the time, I know that the team we just beat, When Worlds Collide, have been very interested in doing the losers bracket, so if you want to have a go with another team, feel free. I think that would be just very fun to watch and enjoy in personal time.
Yeah, and if they're down, I do have League and LTTP and the Time Spinner tournament coming up, so it might be a little crunchy, but
of course,
try to make it work.
Yeah, if I can find time, I'd be down.
Yeah, hit them up for it. Wildham, though, I'm sorry, I accidentally cut you off there.
Yeah, that's good. I just want to thank you for commenting this race. It was pretty last minute.
I did my best.
Yeah. GG again, Lord Fizzlebeef, and Mickey Nikopi. It was a great race, and well, if you do some lower brackets race, I wish you all the good luck.
Yeah, thank you.
I will have to see what the tournament bits looks like to find out what people's next week rounds are. I know mine's been set up against Team Avalon, so we will see how that goes. But until then, this is the Final Fantasy Randomizer channel. We'd like a special thanks to our tracker here in Socket, all of our runners here today, and then this is me, myself, Maddie, signing off, and enjoy the rest of the content for not just this tournament over the next couple of weeks, but everything offered by FFR.